Only stands can beat other stands. This statement is something that you might have become familiar with in JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, but given the scenarios that we've seen, this is true, but it also isn't. Since I did a video recently that warranted the conversation, let's go over this statement. Only stands can beat other stands. Let's look at what we know in JoJo. Stands are the only things that can make contact with other stands. Yes, that is usually true. Stands that can be bound to physical objects find themselves being the exceptions. There are many questions too, like, hey, when you bring the ghost alley into the mix, what's going on with that? But since the alley isn't something well enough explained or quantified yet for me to bring this in, I'll hold off on it for now until I bring it up in a different video. Well, are physical beings able to make contact with stands? No, for the most part that is not happening, no. Whether spectral / ethereal type characters can, ask a different question. Now, while we call stands fighting spirits, they aren't ghosts. If anything, they're psychic abilities visualized by others within the same realm. Off script, but yeah, it's like a virus that just puts you all on the same Wi-Fi plan. That's why you all see each other. But as they are visualizations of our psyche, most stands go out when you do too. Like say, hey, I got knocked out. Oh man, my thing's getting knocked out too for the most part. But just when you have these psychic abilities, it doesn't necessarily mean you have a stand. As it stands right now, stands are their little bracket of fiction within themselves. They aren't like these telekinetic abilities that, oh, any human can grasp for. It's a stand. It's a virus. It's a stand. That's what it is. So we double up on that rule that stands can only make contact with other stands, with our few exceptions. Okay, that is perfectly fine. But defeating a stand is a different story. Let me explain. Let's use a primary stand for this example, Star Platinum, before time stop. Now, Star Platinum is a very tough cookie and has fought against many strong enemies to warrant the power in its name alone. How can you go about beating Star Platinum? In the Dio fight, Dio had used his stand, the World, to match Star Platinum and Jotaro punch for punch. If Dio truly had the stronger or faster stand, he would have been able to defeat Star Platinum off of raw strength or speed alone. So that's the answer. Just outbox them. Something like that would be as simple as that. But how are you able to defeat Star Platinum with no stand?
Hold it! Objection!
In theory and potentially practice, you do it the same way. Star Platinum will try to defend Jotaro as best as it can, but what can it do when the thing that it's fighting against is stronger or faster than it? We saw what happened with the Road Roller. That is a physical object, not a stand. And if Star Platinum was a good bit weaker, the combination of the Road Roller and Dio and punching down with the World would be enough to do it. If you can output a force stronger and or faster than the stand in question, ideally you should be able to take it out. That's why when I say something can outpunch Star Platinum, it isn't about making contact with Star Platinum. It's about Jotaro's protection and the set durability in Star Platinum that barriers Jotaro from life or death. And if there's too much power for Star Platinum, then the opposing force will be able to get through. Once that it gets through, that means that Jotaro is next and then kaput. I can try to make an easier to understand example. So let's say that there's you, an enemy, and your intangible wall. Your intangible wall, and it's also invisible, can take up to level 3 damage. So levels 1 through 3 can't hit you past the invisible wall. If your enemy is capable of level 4 damage, your invisible wall can't protect you anymore as the damage is now outside of its range. Now, your enemy breaks past your intangible defense without intentionally going after it and can directly damage you as you are now defenseless. They have never made contact with the wall or tried to make contact with the wall. The wall itself was not able to match the damage that they were outputting. That's why it's possible for a physical being to beat Star Platinum without ever making contact with it. That's why you can defeat certain stands without having one. Now, does this mean that stands are just free game? Like just everyone could beat them up? There's still speed and abilities that they're capable of. In addition to that, you have to consider the strength of the character and the strength of the stand, because that's always going to be on the table. Context matters extremely. But yeah, if you want to see something on the channel, you can leave a comment or join my Discord and put it in the video ideas chat. I've been told to look into more JoJo versus other series and analyze character strength from series like Hunter or JJK. That's at least a couple of comments that I did see. So I just might. This video is a short one, so I hope to have something else soon. I'm still working on the video that I had on the Inherited Soul event. That's still being in the works, so this one is going to be a quick one for the time being. So again, thank you all for watching, and hopefully I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, peace out and Godspeed.